Well, wonderful. Today we are going to hear from Wendy, and I'm going to ask her to pronounce her full name for us. Wendy?
Hi, my name is Wendy Huynh Bayo, and yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for spending some time with us, Wendy. And I know people are busy and they'd love to hear from you as you're growing your businesses. And you have MW Climbing. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what is your business and how we might find you.
Well, I am the CEO of MW Climbing. I opened this business with my husband back in 2021. We are an indoor rock climbing facility, and we add other pieces to our business, so including a fitness room with cardio and weights, yoga, and a cafe area in Omaha here. But I and my husband, we were both professors. So we met during grad school at UNL and we started climbing together, and it kind of just evolved from that. So once we started opening the second location here in Omaha, I went full time here to the gyms and managing the gyms. And yeah, so we have really been really thankful to be able to grow as quickly as we have been able to, and kind of just see that community flourish. And so, yeah.
Beautiful. Well, you're definitely filling a need and adding some creative spaces to physical fitness, right?
Mhm.
As I think about, or at least visualize what the rock climbing wall might look like, and how that certainly requires use of different muscles and conditioning and such.
Yeah, absolutely. Rock climbing is a full body workout. We think a lot about using your arms, your backs, but actually, you actually really need to have a good strength in your legs, your core, and it works out every single part of your body, including your brain. So you're doing a lot of problem solving on the wall, and that's half of the fun, trying to figure out which hand goes where, what sequence should I do to get to the top, that sort of thing. So it's a really great workout. Helps you get your mind off of the fact that you're working out. And it's a really community oriented sport as well. So
Love that. I love that. Hearing that you went into business with your husband, and I'm curious about, did you take a hobby and made it into a business, or did you see that there was just a real need, or how did you just start this whole idea of a business?
well, I would say that it was a hobby initially. So my husband and I have both been climbing for about 10 years. About a few years ago, maybe 4 or so years ago, we were kind of looking towards our future, thinking about what the next 5-year plan was going to look like. I was still in graduate school. He had just gotten his doctorate and was teaching full time. And we were just thinking about like what we wanted out of our near future. And we just decided, well, there's a need in Lincoln specifically at first, where there was no indoor climbing gym other than the university gym. And we just decided, hey, why not us? Why not us be the people that bring more rock climbing to Lincoln and Nebraska and beyond? So we got really excited about the idea. And as researchers and experienced scientists, we got to work in developing a plan and figuring out what skills we need, what kind of resources we need to make this dream happen. And so it started off as just a why not? Let's try it and see how it goes. But it really flourished into something so much bigger and so much, more awesome than what we could have ever imagined.
I saw a t-shirt tagline that says, "Life is good, love what you do." And that's how I visualize you. It's like we love what we do, and oh, by the way, we made a business around it because there was a need. Love that idea.
Yeah.
What would you say, as you started? You said you identified resources and you did your research and what knowledge you needed. If you were to start from square one, your business today, what would you do differently, or what did you learn in this process?
It's hard to say what I would do differently. I think that there's always going to be, trial and error, mistakes that you learn and hopefully grow from. I think that I wouldn't be afraid of, stepping into that world of asking questions and being afraid that, I might look like I didn't know what I was doing, but asking those questions, whether it's in business or research or school, it's important to have that confidence to ask the questions that you don't know, because chances are the answer is going to help you further yourself so much more than, I'm afraid to ask a question, or I'm afraid I'm not as familiar in this space. Just go ahead and ask it, and go ahead and seek out people who are going to help you grow. That's the biggest thing I would say that is the takeaway of this whole process is.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, personal growth. A lot of that is a mindset and a choice, no doubt, right? To eliminate the fear, face everything, and rise.
Absolutely.
I wonder about, so, as I visualize this, that you're doing in the healthy culture and the, body, mind, and spirit workout really that you get. Talk about the work environment and the team that you're building. What do you look for? What are you creating there?
Well, as a researcher and a mentor in that space for many years, I learned from my mentors and from just experience that I can't teach you to be excited. I can't teach someone to be motivated. That's something that somebody else has to have coming into the space. I can teach anybody how to be, a strong academic writer, how to be a strong instructor in climbing, how to learn how to use different programs. But what I look for when I am interviewing folks for a position in my business is that go-getter attitude, that motivation to learn and grow. Because like I said, that is something that I can't personally teach or impart into people. They have to have that.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious how big of a team that you have right now. What does it take to be able to facilitate a gym in 2 locations?
Well, it was a very small group initially. We had 3 employees, including me, my husband, and one other friend to start with in Lincoln. And as we grew, we, needed more staff to help manage the time and help each other get time off and that sort of thing. We've grown to 19 employees so far, with, I believe, 8 full-time staff, many of which are young 20-something-year-olds who just got out of college, have had some experience in the climbing industry. But a lot of them, like I said, are go-getters. They're motivated. They're excited to learn more and grow the space. So I firmly believe in making sure that my employees are well taken care of, because if the basic necessities are met, everyone is able to grow and focus on the creative part of their job, and to find ways to improve different aspects of the gym. So making sure people are taken care of and they're paid well and they're paid time off, kind of rules are lenient, and what I have is like there is unlimited paid time off for my business, and people take it. But if you offer people the ability to take care of themselves, to take care of their mental well-being and physical well-being, people are much happier and therefore much better at their jobs.
Absolutely. And the experience that others have when they come to the gym is going to be the marketing, right? The stories that they tell about how awesome it is.
Yeah, and the front desk workers as well. Like, I mean, everybody, here, regardless of what position they have, even myself, we're still currently at the phase where we're all, working the front desk. We get to learn people's names. We get to greet people and teach them and show them our passions. And so every single position is super important here. And it's vital that every person, every staff, kind of is excited about what they're doing and loves what they're doing and wants to show people more about what we're about. So taking care of everyone from managers to part-time workers is critical for me.
Well, you've created 19 jobs, that's given back to the community, and that's the communities, right? That's what we're about, supporting the people that we do life with. How awesome is that?
It is amazing.
I'm wondering, how do you integrate? I'm not going to use the word balance. How do you integrate your personal life and the demands of running a business?
It's a lot easier if you really enjoy what you do. And so every part of my job is really fun. It's not fun every single day, but it is something that I look forward to and want to keep growing. I think it says a lot about our culture to see that our staff actually spends a lot of their free time here as well when they're not working. I don't know how many people, how many jobs I've been at where I wanted to stay after I worked, even if it was like my hobby. After I'm done with work, I want to go home or I want to go do something else. But seeing how a good chunk of time is spent here even after hours is very meaningful to me. But seeing how I integrate work and life, there are times where work becomes kind of life, but there are times where it does feel like there's more separation. But I guess I don't really seek to have it be like, critically separate, like two separate things, because it's something that I really enjoy doing. It's something I find meaningful, and want to just be a part of. But that doesn't mean I'm always here at work. I find time to integrate my hobbies, and sometimes those hobbies come to the gym. So yoga, for example, I really enjoy doing yoga. We brought yoga into the gym. There's coffee. I'm an avid coffee drinker. We bring coffee into the gym. Anything like that, anything that we're passionate about, we try and like see if we can incorporate in some way.
Love that. Love that. I can tell that you value learning and growing and, developing, and you're open to creative possibilities. And I would think that that also creates to the environment of people wanting to be a part of your team.
Absolutely. Yeah. Something that I'm not as well versed in is kind of like youth coaching or youth programs. That's not an area that I'm very like knowledgeable in or experienced in, but many of our staff have a lot of that like summer camp experience, camp counselor experience, and they're really passionate about developing our youth climbing teams. And so our programs coordinator and some programs assistants and stuff, they built these programs from the ground up. And I've helped mentor, but like it's their project, and that brings a lot of value for those folks, and having like, this is something that I contributed to the gym. That was, my idea. And I think that's what helps our business grow, is that we each bring unique perspectives or unique passions that connect well and vibe well to the entire team.
Nice. I'm wondering about, you've taken this now and grown it into a business. What might be some misconceptions about running a business that you've discovered, and how have you addressed them?
Um, I guess misconceptions is that there's like this stepwise piece to growing a business, opening a business, that sort of thing. I think that, like many other different types of projects, building and opening a business, you might follow part of the plan, but there's never any plan that will go smoothly, like from start to finish, exactly how you expected it to be. There's a lot of work, and it's not just one person doing it. It's not just two people doing it. It is a community. It is a group and team effort. Just because I am branded the leader does not mean that I am the only person doing anything. It's truly a team effort. And everybody deserves to be recognized for that. So I'm very grateful for my team and how dedicated they are. And I'm in the grunt work as well, just with my team. And nobody is too good to vacuum the pads or mop the floors or anything like that. Anything that is done by my team is also done by me.
Beautiful.
And so, yeah.
How do you then recognize and celebrate team? What are the ways that you found have been effective for you?
I think, of course, compensation is always a huge thing, making sure that people are compensated well, making sure that people are given shout outs and given the credit that they deserve when we announce things. So if somebody were to be the creator of an event, or they helped host things really well. And just like, well, we want to make sure that we take the time to thank people, and thank people not just on the big things, but the little things too. And it's just like, hey, I noticed that you took the extra time to clean this area today. I really appreciate that. Just those moments of appreciation, I think, are very meaningful when I receive them, and I know are meaningful when other people receive them as well. So recognizing work is crucial to having a good culture.
Mhm. Absolutely. Where do you see yourself growing? What does that plan look like the next 5 years? Because you talked about, oh, we talked about what's going to happen post graduate school for 5 years. What's next?
I think that it's always hard to predict. Like I said before, your plan never goes exactly as according to what you expect it to. I hope that I am able to continue to bring climbing to all of Nebraska and grow the community. I'm hopeful of the smaller victories as well, just like expanding little parts and areas of our business. And yeah, I don't have any like grand plan, but I hope to continue providing services to our community, because I live here too. It's my community too, and I want this community to be awesome and great and fun for everyone, you know. So
Yeah, I love the niche that you're in, right? You can make this whole idea of wholesomeness and hobby, but make it fun so that it doesn't feel like I'm working out, stretching my body, mind, spirit, good critical thinking skills that probably take place, and a lot of opportunity to reach that younger generation and impacting the next generation that will be developing such skills. That's very exciting.
yeah, it's multi-generational actually. So we have members that are as young as 4 and as old as 70, and we have a group that dubbed themselves older boulders, and so they're this group of 50 plus climbers that climb regularly through our space. And we have the young professionals, you know, and we have the young college kids, we have the teenagers, you know, it's something that's really cool because everybody at different stages of their life can do it. So parents will bring their kids and the parents will climb too. So it's one of those unique situations where it's not specific to a certain age group, and you know the parents are sitting around waiting for their kid, or the kids are bored waiting on their parents. You know, it's something that the whole family can do. So it's something that's really cool, that I think that is very meaningful to the community, and hopefully, you know, attacks this niche that is greatly needed.
That's exciting. I'm wondering about the places that you talked. I needed to know this, or I didn't know I needed to know this in running a business. What about financial management, the money management part of it? What advice would you give to business owners in that vein?
I think always have a bigger safety net than you expect. There's always these unexpected costs that come up, no matter how small. They can be very additive and add up very quickly. Getting experience and advice from folks who have done something similar is always critical. You know, having that person who has been through it can give you some perspective. Get a good accountant. Know know what you yourself are capable of doing and what you are not. So if you're not familiar with bookkeeping or tax, you know, kind of like tax stuff, I guess, then seek out people who are experts in that area, and seek out advice from folks who are very experienced and successful in managing those aspects that you're not familiar with.
Absolutely. You know, we encourage that as well. Oftentimes we'll meet business owners that have an accountant that helps them with their tax management.
Mm-hmm.
And every year I'd say, well, and you need to work on this. And so where we come in is to help teach them how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we work with those professionals that support your businesses and, you know, don't take away from, rather add to, so that we can close that learning gap and you can get there, you know, faster, more quickly, if you will. I'm wondering if you had advice to your younger self, because you're still a younger self.
I
Though,
am.
if you were to have advice for your younger self, what might that be? And it could be at a personal level, not necessarily just business.
I mean, I think for me, it's always coming back to those ask questions. Ask as many questions. Don't be afraid of seeming like you don't know anything, because part of that process is you get to find out what you don't know. A lot of times when I was teaching or when I was a student, and the professor would say, any questions? And in my head, I was like, I have so many questions, but I don't even know what to ask. I don't know where to start. And the thing is, you don't know what to ask if you literally don't know what to ask. And so ask as many questions, figure out what you know, figure out what you don't know, and then expand on that. And so, don't worry about perception of like, oh, I don't know this. That's important to figure out because that's where you need to target that weakness, and you need to figure out what you know and what you don't know and how to solve what you don't know.
Yeah, nice. Good advice. I found myself reframing instead of saying, do you have any questions? I find myself saying, what questions do you have? Which implies that we know there's some out there, right? Just take some time to formulate them. And even if it doesn't come out exactly how you want it to, just get started and start talking about, what questions are out there that maybe you haven't even thought about, because that's usually where you'll expand your horizon and expand your learning.
Yes, 100%.
Are you a visual learner, or are you an audio? Do you need to kinesthetically get your hands on it? And what kind of a learner are you? I'm just curious.
I believe that it's always a mix. I'm not sure there's ever any situation where you're just like one strictly. I think that learning is a huge complicated process, and having, kinetic and touch and doing things with your hands is incredibly important. I think it's important to understand the concepts before you start, doing things as well, or seeing how that can incorporate into your learning process. I think repetition, of course, trial and error. The first time you do anything typically is not going to be your best time. And so learning is this huge, huge process. In my doctoral work, I was a learning and behavior neuroscience major. And so learning is a huge, huge part of my life and how I kind of like operate in the real world as well. So yeah.
I love the neuro-linguistic type, the whole approach around that. I'm sure you're an expert in that area. It always fascinates me as well.
Yeah.
Are you applying that to your business? Where have you found that background brings transferable skills for you?
I think that with behavior in particular, it's always helped me improve my skills as a leader. I'm always improving. There's never a end point to that, hopefully for anybody. But thinking and taking a step back when you're trying to solve a problem and say, okay, well, this isn't happening. What is in my control in my behavior? What can I do behaviorally to help remedy the situation? Because if you're frustrated with a certain type of behavior that somebody else is projecting, you can't change their behavior. You can only change yours and hope that what you are doing will influence the impact of like other people's behaviors, and maybe chat and see where the disconnect is. So kind of in the leadership realm, I am very transparent. And when things are, confusing for me, or I'm, unsure of what's going on, I always approach it with this is a problem that I'd like to solve together. It is not a you problem. It is not a me problem. We're trying to figure out what's the best way forward. So preserving the relationship is important to me rather than being right. So when I was younger, a lot of times it's like, I want to be right. I want to have it my way. I want to be the person who's like, this is the way we're getting it done. But oftentimes that leads to a lot of, uncertainty, mistrust, and it doesn't build relationships, which is what you need to do ultimately. This is in every business, you need to build and preserve relationships. Those are the most important resources that you have.
Absolutely. We can't get anything done in and of ourselves, right? It takes a team and those positive relationships. When I say the word time management or time mastery, what does that mean to you? What does that look like, and how might you approach it?
Time management means something different for everybody. And it means being organized to an extent of figuring out what you need to do when, prioritizing things that are very urgent, maybe putting other pieces to a lower priority, but making sure that they're still on that list somewhere so that you don't forget about it. Everybody's method to time management, I think, varies in like what's successful for them. For me, it's always been like a Google Calendar, making sure that I have alerts for when I have meetings, or making sure that I put a note of like, oh, I talked to so-and-so today. Here's what we talked about. That way, if I have to go back to something and refer back to, I was like, what was that meeting about again? I'll have notes back to my calendar saying, okay, well, this is what we talked about. So let's follow up on this meeting and see if we still need to, talk about this again, or if the problem is fixed or what have you. So time management is always very crucial. You need to make sure that you are an organized person. And however that looks for you may be different for me. But yeah, Google Calendar for me has been a lifesaver. So
we need those tools, don't we?
100%. Yeah.
Is there anything that I should be asking you that I haven't already that would be important to share?
I am not sure. I think that you've asked me all of the core questions. But I guess the one thing I'll say in conclusion is that with business and most things in your life, things are not quick. There is a process, and you will get to your destination, but things are never going to be as fast as you think it will be. But you have to trust that process and trust that like in process moment where things don't look perfect in like how they did in your mind, but they're not where you were at the beginning either. So don't forget about how far you've come, but also know that there's always room for growth, whether that's in leadership, whether that's in your finances and revenue, whether that's in your customer interaction and improving customer service. There's always something where you can improve and kind of take a harder look at to see in what ways can I be a better boss? Can I be a better business person? Can I be a better family member? Yeah, it's always a process.
Beautiful. Yeah, I like to think about business as something so simple. It's about people and process. And, good people wanting to do good things, they need good processes to support them and help them grow. And it's such a simple model, and yet it's sometimes very complicated.
It always is that way. Yeah.
Well, it has just been wonderful to connect with you today and hear from you and learn from you, Wendy. And where do people find you? What's your Omaha address?
Our Omaha address is 2809 South 125th Street. It's at the old Westwood movie theater that many folks are familiar with in this area. And so Lincoln is 48th and R roughly. And so those are very popular places that a lot of people tend to go anyway. But yeah, it's really been a great time chatting with you, Linda, and I appreciate you taking out the time to talk to me.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I'll have to come and check it out.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks, Wendy.